Welcome to Justice Now. And for workplace mobbing number 24, it will be entitled Breaking the Naive Bubble. What do I mean by breaking the naive bubble? Well, what happens is when you're in the workplace, or even when you're outside of the workplace, just in your day-to-day life, and you cannot believe that people can behave so horribly with no provocation at all. It's important to keep in mind and have that realistic point of view that at any time, any person can be a tormentor. At any time, any person can become a perpetrator. It's not to state that you're paranoid. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to express to you is that one day you might be getting on very well with this person or group of people, and the next day they can turn on you. And to be very receptive to that, unfortunately, as a consequence to the way that the society is, it also requires you to have lowered expectations of people in general. I know that for myself, when I was targeted in the workplace, the reason I was so hurt by it is, number one, it was lies that perpetrators were doing. And number two, it was my shock that people who don't know you can just lie about you and not have any conscience, not have any remorse. And to me, that's foreign. To me, that's something that, it doesn't reside with my personality. My personality is to treat people with respect. And I've been grown up on learning to, and have been treating people the way that they should be treated, with respect and dignity. And it was unfortunate that I didn't get that, for the most part, in return by the perpetrators. Not everyone was awful. There were some people that were respectful. But for the most part, the perpetrators and their supporters were not. And that shocked me. Especially you've just started the job, 2 months in, they're already lying about you. They don't even know you. And, in the other earlier videos, you're going to hear me say that phrase. They didn't even know me, because they didn't. But you're going to have people who do know you that are going to lie about you. And you're going to have people who don't know you who will lie about you. So it really opens up your eyes as to the types of people that you're dealing with. So breaking that naiveness. The other part of this video is to discuss about finding closure. For me, what's helped me is finding my own closure. Keep in mind that the perpetrators, they don't want you to find closure. Perpetrators didn't even want you to find a solution. Worse yet, they created a lie in which no resolution would be found. And then they added on to that lie, which made it difficult for you over time to continue your job duties because of all the distractions that they're throwing at you. So keep in mind that you're not going to find a resolution. You're not going to find closure. Don't expect to get closure from these perpetrators, right? And I mean, the most rational way to look at it is if they were willing to lie about you and create this climate of fear and anxiety and create a climate of just a toxic environment, why would you look towards them for closure? You'll never get it. In some cases you might, maybe many years down the road, but by that time, would it even matter? Would it even matter? For me, the answer is no. It wouldn't matter. The damage is already done. Can't bring back time. Can't undo the contamination that they did. So the only thing that you have left is yourself to do the closure. And there's several ways that you can do closure. You can write a letter to yourself outlining everything that they've done and then destroying it. You can make the YouTube videos and educate other people who are going through something similar, like what I'm doing. You can speak to your support group or speak to a professional in mental health, such as a psychologist, to help you go through what's just happened to you. Because what's happened to you is a violation. I often say that it's a horrible crime. A horrible crime in which oftentimes perpetrators are not brought to justice. In fact, perpetrators end up being protected. The last piece is that you're going to undergo a lot of loss. You're gonna undergo it. First, it starts with the loss of your reputation, the loss of your ability to define who you are, the loss of being able to be a part of a group, the loss of your job, the loss of income, the loss of benefits. You're going to undergo a lot of loss. And the loss doesn't just end when you decide to exit the job, or if you're fired from the job, or if you're transferred into another position in another department. The loss doesn't end there. It means that you'll need to learn a different set of skills depending on where you're moved to, or depending on, if you had something lined up before leaving, or if you hadn't had anything lined up. It depends on a lot of factors, but in the event, say for example, in my situation, when I worked on my exit plan and got out, there was that loss of income. A huge chunk of my income was lost. The stability of having a schedule. I was about to say a times table, but a schedule, where you're getting up and you're only doing so many hours. Now you got to go and get your body re-regulated to a new set of hours. I mean, it's a lot of transitions that you go through, which really all amounts to a loss of stability. So in retrospect, what I would highly recommend for targets is to get used to that. Embrace the change and really embrace it. And the reason why is this. If you were lucky enough to exit on your own terms, at least you're no longer being tormented. by these people that choose to participate in that. The other thing to look into is if you were fired, still embrace the change and use your transferable skills to get into another line of work or a similar line of work with another place. It is going to be hard because, again, reduced income means reduced opportunities. But you do the best that you can, and be easy on yourself, and be sure to forgive yourself. You didn't do anything wrong. You may not have known quick enough, but I mean, I think that it's unreasonable to expect a target to know right away when they're being targeted. I mean, that's just like expecting kidnapped victims to know right away that they were going to be kidnapped, or expecting, a rapist or a molester, victims of rapists and molesters, expecting them to know, when that was going to happen to them. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's not logical. And, just keep in mind that there are people that are out to harm you. And to, do what you can to protect yourself. That's most that I can say about that. And, just really prepare yourself accordingly. And if there are any parents out there, I would encourage parents to prepare their children accordingly with this information. It's a disservice to them to not know that this occurs. And I think that for the most part, because they were not prepared, or it could be quite possible that in their own families they may hold on to that belief of sticks and stones breaks bones, but names never hurt. That's not true. Names do hurt. It causes a lot of problems, and it's not just the names. It's the consistent torment in a variety of diabolical ways that these perpetrators do this. And to really equip your children with the abilities to protect themselves. And that's all I have to say at this time. Thank you, and stay tuned.